Today on the channel, we are going to be doing one of my favorite videos to watch, and I'm sure one of your favorite videos as well, a good old-fashioned sketchbook tour. I started this sketchbook in October of 2022, with my goal being to finish a sketchbook within a year. As I've mentioned before, I am a very slow artist. I don't sketch every day. I probably should. The first couple of pages are just random doodles and Mr. Pumpkin and Rosie Boo. Then I decided that I was going to continue my sketchbook journey by doing 30 days of drawing hands. If anybody tells you that drawing hands is easy, they're a liar. Does it get easier the more you practice? Absolutely. Are they ever easy? I don't think so. I highlighted the ones that I really like, and I may or may not have been overindulging in AMC's Interview with the Vampire series, and I don't think I will ever finish that sketch of Lestat. More hands. I've got some doodles for last year's holiday card where I drew a Mothman. I started getting more into portraiture and capturing some anatomy. So I did some loose cafe doodles at a Starbucks. Again, found some reference images, tried to learn how to draw a dog. Guess what? Dogs are also very hard. Everything can be broken down into simple shapes, but figuring out how those shapes interact is not always the easiest thing for me. The other thing I really love doing in sketchbooks is swatching new art supplies. So I had gotten some of the Faber-Castell watercolor pencils, as well as some new Holbein acrylic wash. I really wanted to get back to learning to have fun with art, so I did a page of pen doodles with things that I enjoyed, from lifting weights to ice cream sundaes to, yes, the Mothman. And I really tried to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone. This is another one of my favorite spreads. I did a bunch of weird Posca dots all over this spread, and then came back later with a liner and turned them into things. I really like this bird and this unicorn. I decided that I wanted to start practicing faces and facial structure. I think, like most people, my art journey started at a young age with those how to draw anime books. And so a lot of my beginning influences as an artist were things like Sailor Moon, which is still my absolute favorite show. One of my early art influences was Sailor Moon, which still happens to be one of my favorite shows. And my drawing style started off very distinctly anime-esque. And though I've never really I also wanted to make sure that I started capturing some of the things that I was doing. And so I went to a vision video concert down at the Masquerade, had a really great time. Haven't been to a concert in ages. In fact, I think the last concert I went to started getting a little bit more experimental with watercolors in here, with drawing flowers, with just letting go and being more loose and more free-flowing. I guess we all joke that flowers are everyone's go-to what the hell am I supposed to draw today image, but I genuinely enjoy drawing flowers. I find them very relaxing. I had seen some other artists doing anatomy sketches with a base using those mild liners, so I wanted to try that for myself. I also really love drawing hair, so I just looked up a bunch of reference photos of Lady Gaga and decided to draw her hairstyle. I also decided to kind of refresh my skills at drawing facial features. So I have a whole page full of eyes, some of which are studies from other artists. And then I just moved on to doing more fun stuff. So I would sit down at a cafe, I would sketch whatever was in front of me, whether it was my iPod case or, again, flowers. And we moved back over to portraiture. So this was a Skillshare class I took from Chris Hong, who does absolutely amazing color pencil portraiture. I also tried to practice doing skin tones with the 12-piece Faber-Castell color pencil set that I have. Because honestly, when you only have 12 pencils, it's kind of a challenge to make a variety of skin tones. It's not as easy as just like pulling the color you need out of a multi-pack box. I went through a vintage salt and pepper shaker phase. I still think this little lamb turned out pretty cute. This set is actually one of my favorite spreads in the sketchbook. I went through a multicolored fruit phase and did this entire page using the colored pencil sets. And I'm really pleased with how the majority of these things came out. That strawberry is excellent. This lemon wedge, excellent. And next to that, I decided to play around with some crayons. I hate crayons. I wanted to try my hand at drawing an isometric room, which turned out mostly okay. And then of course we just went back to hands, because what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna draw more hands, because now that you can draw them, you are addicted to drawing hands. Also this rubber ducky. One of the other things I did last year was go back to Asheville, North Carolina. And on that trip, I stopped by several antique stores because those are some of my favorite things to visit. So we have the Peapod salt and pepper shakers, as well as these. They were supposed to be apples, but they definitely looked more like peaches. There was a perfume exhibit, and they had an entire section full of original bottles. I loved this one from Max Factor because it's a cat. I don't know why it's a cat. I don't know what it smells like, but it was a cat with a green ribbon, and I loved him. Why is this Max Factor perfume bottle a cat? I don't know, but I love it. I also did this really fun portrait of Vintage or Tacky, based on one of the photos she posted to her Instagram. And I love the way all of the colors blend to her skin tone. I love the way her hair turned out. And I love her facial expression. I just think it's a really, really cool picture. Oh, look, more hands, more hands. And as we get closer to the end of the sketchbook, I went back to the science of figure drawing. I drew so many scribbles on this page that in the end, I really just went back over it with that rainbow color pencil and a couple of those mild liners to really hash out some of the shapes that were in here. Some of them turned out pretty cool. I also got into Not Another Kid Show. I don't know if you have seen that series over on TikTok, but it is fantastic if you like weird core creepy things and aren't afraid of clowns. More figure drawing. And then in the last couple of pages, I had really gotten into the Skull Panda vinyl figures. They had an entire set called The Warmth, where every single figure was absolutely adorable. And I may or may not have gotten a little bit addicted to blind boxes. She says, having firmly stated that 2024 is a no-spending year in which she will not be buying blind boxes. But still, they're very cute. I love this little one with the flower. She turned out super cute. I really like her. And she turned out really cute. This was a different series from a different company. And I just love this girl and her giant bow and her little atomic spaceship. And then I wrapped things up with a draw this in your style. I don't really love how this one turned out. Again, what sketchbooks are for. They are for fooling around and experimenting. The chunky dino is like the best thing I've ever drawn. I should probably just end my career now. I will never top this beautiful chunky dino. And a corpse flower, because why not? What's most interesting to me is the visual progress, especially with facial structure and portraits. This was 2016. I drew this lady, and she is so very different from the stuff that I am drawing today. Or at least I can very much see that manga anime influence. And like, some things haven't changed at all. I still love drawing ridiculous hair. But the things that I was doing before were rather cartoony, which is totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with choosing a style and doing something less realistic. The only regret that I really have is that I did not keep any of my childhood or college sketchbooks. I do have a couple of pieces. I think I have something that I did in 2009. I don't have the very beginning stuff to look back on. You know, unfortunately, I didn't keep any of my work from high school. I didn't keep any of my pieces from college, and I ended up throwing it away. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I hadn't let other people talk me out of believing in my artwork and in my skills and in the things that I was interested in. I wish that I had pursued more of doing what I loved instead of letting my college art experience dictate how I felt about my work. And as I keep studying and I keep drawing and I keep practicing, things are just going to get better. I'm going to be able to realize the pieces that I have in my head that I want to put down on paper. And I want to be able to consistently have fun with art again. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour, and thank you so much for letting me ramble on about if you've had a similar experience that you feel like sharing, you can leave those stories in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.